This week I listened to Text Appeal by Kylie Scott, and this is definitely a romance book. Definitely a romance. A little bit spicy, a little bit spicy. There is a spicy scene in it, so not like overly spicy, but there is some spice to it. Okay. All right. So let's get into the story. So you have a girl named Riley Cooper. She decides to try something new and moves to Port Stewart from the desert. So going from like dry, only sun to rain a lot of the times, crazy storms coming off the Pacific Ocean, all that. And when she moves, she also decides to get a new phone number because she was getting a lot of spam on her other number, apparently. So she ends up getting the phone number of a guy named Cooper. Cooper decides to give up his phone number for the weekend because he just wants silence. He just wants people off his back. So he decides to like give it up, and his niece, who works at the phone store, gives it to this girl. So Riley is getting all these text messages from his friends, his family, and his ex-girlfriend Ava, where Ava thinks that Riley is his new girlfriend and they're messing with her. So she starts texting Riley all these things like, I'll be there soon, and sending her selfies and things like that. So Riley goes out. I thought this was kind of funny. So Riley's first day in Port Stewart, nobody knows her yet. She walks into the coffee shop and there's dueling tip jars. And one is for Ava and one is for Riley. It's like, who do we want more? It's like, I'm not dating him, but she's also like extremely introverted, so she's not about to say that. And she just hears the town just go on and on about Ava and Connor. Did I say Cooper? I might have said Cooper earlier. I'm sorry. It's Connor. It's Connor. Oops. Sorry. Okay. And Connor's love story, because they were high school sweethearts. They're on again, off again, on again, off again. And everybody wants them to be together because, love. So she runs away because embarrassing. And then his grandmother texts her to be picked up from somewhere because she thinks it's his. So she has to text Ava to be like, hey, where would I pick grandma up if she's at the park? And luckily Ava's really nice and does help. So, I talk about this because the grandmother then sends Connor to meet Riley as a thank you, and also kind of be like, apologize to this poor child who has been dealing with your mess. So they meet, and in order to help the town kind of get off his back and give up on this whole Ava Connor mess, they decide to start fake dating. So hilarity ensues because she has to, of course, go meet the family, and his mom loves Ava, loves her so much that she doesn't even want to give Riley the time of day. So, no, Ava, you need to talk to Ava. You need to talk to Ava. All that. And Ava does end up coming back to town for, I think it's their 10-year high school not graduation. You know what I'm talking about. 10-year high school reunion. So she comes back for that, and just it's hilarity ensues because there's a welcome home party where Connor brings Riley as his date, and they end up in a situation that is totally taken out of context, but it kind of helps their storyline. People think that they're having a little fun when he's really just like digging in her pocket. But again, it helps their storyline to play off that they are dating, even though they're not really. But of course, through the fake dating, they end up falling for each other. But he of course, is hesitant because he he has put on this image of himself as a good guy, as a hard worker, and yet everybody still doesn't fully, I wouldn't say they don't believe, because they do talk about him like he is the golden boy of the town of Port Stewart, but at the same time, they still relate him to his father, who was a drunk. He was getting into fights and all that stuff. So he's still dealing with that, and he's really trying to figure out what he wants from himself because he's been going through this insane cycle of on again, off again, on again, off again with Ava. So I do wish that we would get some of the book from his perspective. It's all being told from Riley's perspective, which is really great. And she is a writer, so there is also a little bit, because it's an audio, because I'm listening to the audiobook and it's being read by Andy Art. It's thrown in the book that Riley listens to a book by Andy Art, and I just thought that was a little fun little mention, little ad there. But anyway, I think it would have really helped to understand more of what Connor was thinking, what he was going through, because he doesn't really talk and share his feelings a whole lot. So it would have been nice to have some perspective from his point of view, just so we can get a lot more understanding of what I'm sure was a very hard, complicated struggle of his thoughts, his feelings, his trying to understand what he wants. So I do wish that was there, but it wasn't, so it is what it is. But overall, I thought it was a cute book. I thought it was good. It was a pretty quick listen. I think I listened to it in about 4 days. But I only listened to audiobooks on my drive, which is like 50 minutes, so yeah. All right, well, that's it for this review. So cozy reading. Cozy reading. Okay, bye.